D-Day 80, A Portsmouth Story is an exhibition that tells the story of the lead up to the events of D-Day in the city. The exhibition has three themes in it: the planning aspect, how the city changed, how the atmosphere evolved, what the people saw. It's not really about the fighting aspect of D-Day or what happened when the soldiers got over to the beaches. It's that kind of 3 months or so beforehand and the build-up, the preparations, I suppose. The concept of the exhibition was formed probably over a year ago now. With the 80th coming up, it seemed like an obvious choice of something we should look at. The fort being on top of the hill and kind of almost witnessing the events of the harbour is where we kind of started with that. And then I would say the last 4 or 5 months, we've kind of really developed things and pieced it all together to form the story. To accompany the exhibition, we've created a trail that takes you around the site. So the trail focuses on 9 objects around the fort, so it will take people around the site looking at relevant objects that were used either on D-Day or were relevant to the D-Day period during the war. And accompanying each object, there'll be a silhouette standing next to them. Each silhouette is based on a photo of a real person that has a local connection to D-Day. Local being someone who lived here, it could have been someone that sailed off from here, someone that worked here in the war effort. 10 different people, all with different roles in the war as well. So we've got commandos, we've got a nurse, we've got an ATS lady. Yeah, a real variety of people. So the exhibition was put together using a variety of mediums. We looked through photographic archives, we looked through archives of oral histories, but then one of the final things we did, which we weren't sure was going to work actually, was put a call out to people that either were veterans themselves, which, you know, being the 80th, there's not many left now, or just for family members that it was their father, their mother, or grandfather, that they'd kind of had stories passed down to them. And we were quite surprised. We got quite a few people respond, and as a result of that, we were able to speak to probably half a dozen or so people that were witness to the events themselves. We saw a couple of people that lived in Southwark. One lady that was a Southwark resident at the time of D-Day and recalls seeing all the soldiers lined up. She recalls seeing Eisenhower and Churchill in the pub. She has lots and lots of little anecdotes that she can share with people, which is really lovely. Another lady that worked up at Southwark House who was a steward up there. And it was just amazing. It's one thing to read things on paper from people. It's really another thing to hear them speak and hear their emotion behind it and hear kind of the atmosphere, I suppose. It kind of brings it to life. It's a real personal connection. And yeah, I think we're really quite lucky that we've been able to do that. There's 2 films within the exhibition, and one focuses on the planning aspect and the chaos and the build-up, and the second one is very much about what Portsmouth saw and the kind of run-up to going off, and then the silence and the eeriness that followed. The 2 films, the idea behind them was to try and kind of recreate the sounds and the sights and the almost smells, which not the real smells, but you kind of want people to immerse themselves in it. And by seeing it on a big screen, we kind of felt that would be the better way to do it. It brings the photos to life. Yeah, almost feel like you could drop yourself into the image and kind of be there with everyone at the same time. It would be really lovely if audiences get a real emotional response from it. I'd like them to be able to kind of immerse themselves in the time period, to be able to imagine what it was like on the streets of Portsmouth at the time, that excitement, that atmosphere, that build-up, that kind of almost chaos, I suppose, of kind of, you know, something happening but you're not really sure what it was or what it's going to be, and then kind of what happened afterwards, that quiet, the silence, the eeriness. And it's quite easy for us to sit here and think about D-Day as an event that ultimately contributed to V-Day. But actually at the time, the residents of Portsmouth didn't really know what was going to happen, but they also didn't know whether it was going to be a success either. So there was probably that level of anticipation and anxiousness as well. And yeah, I just really like people to be able to kind of immerse themselves in that, imagine themselves there at the time.